Hi cats and kittens, it's Amy from Savor Salvage Scent, and I hope you're having a great day. Today I thought I would talk with you a little bit about what I am calling Two Warm Weather Wonders by Tom Ford. Both of these scents I see get a lot of hate, or at the very least people are pretty polarized about how they feel about them. I know one is clearly discontinued, and I think the other one might be on its way out the door. So I feel like it's a good time to give them a little more love and recognition. And they are two of my absolute favorite hot weather scents. So today I'm going to talk about Orchid Soleil and Sahara Noir. And for those of you who are interested in Sahara Noir, very hard to find. I'll get into this in a minute, but it was also sold under the working title, or released under a working title of Golden Tears. So that's how I've recently found an affordable decant of it. So anyway, so Tom Ford, for a lot of you, is, I'm sure, considered, if not a god, somebody who gets a lot of attention, right, in the perfume world. So for those of you who are not familiar with Tom Ford, gosh, I think he's probably around my age or a little older, like maybe around 50, I'm guessing. I should have looked that up. But he has been producing his own line since, I think, 2006. And a lot of you will know him because he was the creator or the creative director before he released his own line for Gucci and for Yves Saint Laurent. So he is both, my understanding is, not only is he in the fashion world, in the perfume world, but also is a filmmaker. And, you know, of course, some of his most famous perfume releases are Black Orchid and Velvet Orchid, and recently things like Effing Fabulous and Lost Cherry, and, you know, some of the other kind of, what would I say, racy names for perfume. So really interesting stuff. And something that I just really appreciate about him is, I think there's a reason he gets a lot of hate, and there's a reason that people are really polarized about his scents. I think his scents take chances, and I think they're really cool in that they often imitate an environment, or they're not always like what I would call, I don't find them that the mainstream finds them terribly wearable sometimes, but I think they're really cool because to me they're like true artistic creations. To be fair, he works with other noses. He is not the nose, but his collaborations are really interesting. So I'm going to talk about two scents that I think do amazingly well in warm weather. So I'm going to start with one that is less known. And that is Sahara Noir. Again, this was released in 2013. Since then, unfortunately, it's been discontinued. The prices for a bottle, a 1.7 ounce bottle, have gone up to like literally $200 to $300 to $400. I was lucky enough to get a decant of this from a friend when I got really into collecting a few years ago, and I happened to be on my way for my first trip to Paris, and it was really hot when I was there, and so this was just an incredible scent to wear in the warmth. So let me tell you a little bit about it. The top notes are bitter orange, calamus, which I will talk a little bit about in a minute, cypress, and labdanum. So calamus apparently I have never smelled it on its own. I will be frank about that. I hope to someday, but my understanding is it's a plant and its roots are used for incense. Really, really, should I say, historic or old ingredient in incense and perfumes. The middle notes are, and labdanum is, I think it also goes by the name of rock rose. And it's like a rock flower, and it has a scent that's very piney, kind of dry. Some people say it has like a honeyed or a leather scent, but to me I get pine. The mid notes are jasmine, rose, incense, papyrus, so you know, like a very dry paper, beeswax, and cinnamon. And the base notes are labdanum again, which is interesting, benzoin, which is like a resin, vanilla, cedar, amber, oud, and balsam. And oops, I have it drying down here, but I'm going to respray it too. So again, the scent has become so expensive because it's discontinued, but I read on Fragrantica that its original working title was Golden Tears, and I recently purchased quite a few bottles of their little 15 ml bottles under the name of Golden Tears on eBay, and I was able to get a steal for these, like I think $15 I paid, and I bought a few because I'm never going to get them again, because again, the 1.7 ounce bottles are insanely expensive. So if you're into this scent, I would say go look for Golden Tears. So this to me is just like, it is so freaking cool because it creates an environment. And to me, this smells exactly like when I've been at the desert. Like, it smells like parched, dry, summer, warm air and incense. And I know maybe that doesn't sound sexy or attractive to all of you. I think it's amazing. I mean, in a hot environment, like I wore this when it was just crazy humid in Paris, and I wear it when it's humid here. And it somehow cools me off a bit because of its dryness. It almost has like a tannic feel where like it makes you almost dry, parched. What stands out really is incense. It almost smells like pinon incense, if you're familiar with that, like that pine kind of smell. It smells like, again, incense. And you get maybe a tiny bit of spice, but really it's mostly, to me, this is just like the most incredible interpretation of dry, warm air. And it just, to me, again, feels amazing in the summer. Definitely, to me, again, I think that anyone, depending, no matter what their gender is, should wear what they love. But this, to me, could be, it's easily unisex. So just, I think, an incredible artistic creation. So next is Orchid Soleil, and a lot more of you, I think, will be familiar with that because I believe you can still get your hands on it now, but I heard it's being discontinued. This was one that was released, I think, around the time of Black Orchid, and this was supposed to be kind of like the summer scent. And again, it gets a lot of, oh, and I should go back, sorry. For Sahara Noir, for people who love it, they love this whole interpretation of dry air, incense, into that kind of thing. For people who don't like it, they say it smells like rice, corn tortillas, etc. I mean, it does have a bit of a dry grain effect, but I think that's cool, and so it's not something that bothers me. And in fact, when it dries down, it even smells a little tiny bit like, yeah, like a cedar chest or something. Okay, on again, sorry, to Orchid Soleil. So Orchid Soleil was released in 2016. A lot of you will know this bottle. This is really affordable for a Tom Ford scent. I think this is 30 mils, and I got it, I think, for around $30 online. And this is a, to me, pretty strong scent, so it only takes a couple sprays. So this will last a really long time for me. And this one I have on this wrist drying down, and let me read you the, oh, and I should, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. I should say for Golden Tears or Sahara Noir, the nose is Rodrigo Flores-Roux, and he's known for doing all kinds of amazing scents, one being Non Bon by Arquiste, which I know is like a fan favorite for people who like incense. He also designed Clinique Happy, something for Commodity, some for Dolce & Gabbana, Donna Karan, so he's amazing. So again, I think Golden Tears and Sahara Noir is like an underground artwork. Okay, sorry, on to Orchid Soleil. The nose for Orchid Soleil is Sonia Constant. She works for Givaudan, and she's designed things for Guerlain, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Mugler. So again, a really, really interesting artist. For Orchid Soleil, the top notes are pink pepper, bitter orange, and cypress. The middle notes are red lily and tuberose, and the base notes are vanilla, patchouli, chestnut, whipped cream, and orchid. I'll just be short and sweet about this. Orchid Soleil, to me, if you like tuberose, is amazing. And honestly, I can't put my hands around, my words around exactly what makes it not your average tuberose scent. It's, again, kind of gutsy. It almost has a little skankiness to it. And to me, when this dries down, it almost gets like a root beer scent. It smells like tuberose and root beer to me. I mean, the other notes that stand out a little bit is I can get like the chestnut, the creaminess, definitely. I think tuberose has a creamy nature anyways, but if Sahara Noir was dry and parched, then this scent is fatty, creamy, sexy, bodied, amazing. And so this to me is like a really awesome tropical perfume that isn't just that. It's got like a really cool sexiness to it. I think it's super sexy, and again, it dries down to this like root beer scent for me. So just amazing, and a really great buy for Tom Ford. So I would say these are not, I would say, fan favorites, but for me, if you're into perfume, if you're into, I would say, what I would call weirdo or like on the edge creations, like something that's not for everybody, but really artistic and interesting. Something that maybe you don't always even want to wear, but you want to smell because it's just so cool and kind of creates an environment. I think these two are amazing. So I want to give props to these two Tom Ford scents. I would love to hear from you as far as, do you wear any Tom Ford scents, and are there any that you would call polarizing or not fan favorites that you're into, and which ones? I've been really focused just on the Tom Ford scents that I knew I would love, but I would like to get a few more. Lost Cherries on its way to me, but let me know if there are others. I mean, I think I need to get Black Orchid. I've smelled it and it's beautiful. Are there any others that you just feel like have to have, especially if they're on the way out the door? I would love to know. So thanks so much for listening today. I hope you'll subscribe if you enjoy the content, and give me feedback, because I'm always learning and I'd love to integrate things that you're into. Thanks so much for contributing, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.